Fan.
Sorry, I had to interrupt Wrestling Wednesday for a little bit more of me first in the Gimme Gimmes.
Did you, though? It's Wrestling Wednesday. We need wrestling music.
Sorry, just, I could see somebody coming into this. One of the divas.
No.
I could see it.
No.
No. No.
No, this sounds like the end to a late 90s rom-com.
Yep.
That's all I hear.
Like that as the credits are
Yes,
starting to roll.
the credits are rolling and everybody's walking out.
Yeah,
All right, well,
absolutely.
screw me, right?
Hugh Grant was definitely in the movie.
Ooh, I think it's a little too upbeat. This is more like teen.
Okay, you
This
want
is
to go
I was
Freddie
gonna go
Prinze
with, like,
Jr.?
Zac Efron.
There
Okay,
we go.
Freddie
yeah,
Prinze
yeah,
Jr. Okay.
Yeah, that's the both of you guys
Yeah.
hit that.
Okay.
Hit that mark right there.
Maybe
yeah.
a heart net.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of hitting marks, Ray Lewis could be
Wow.
the next. What?
Master of the segues.
What? I mean, was there something wrong with what I said?
Nope.
Okay. Ray Lewis, definitely never involved with anything that might disqualify him for leading men. Might be the guy that replaces Todd Herman at FAU.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, Tom Herman out. One of the great drops of our time from Tom Herman in his press conference. I think he was at Houston at the time.
Yo, love you, dog. Love you, bro.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Love you, dog.
Love you, dog. Love you, bro. The man who brought the championship levels of urination into our lexicon, Tom Herman, he, since being fired at Florida Atlantic, now this is going to be a move that you see a lot of programs do, which is they're going to go to the former player, and they're going to try to make the splash, and they're going to try to replicate the Deion. And I got to tell you, Ray Lewis may be the guy who could do it as well.
I mean,
He's a master motivator,
he is, and he's a football savant.
and people will want to go and play for him, especially in South Florida.
I was just gonna
kinda
say,
like
with the-
Snoop. He beat a murder rap too. Why can't he go on to succeed here?
I mean, the
Hosting the Olympics.
made $15 million doing it. No, the thing, the last part that you brought up there is the most poignant thing here. It's in South Florida, where he's a legend.
Yeah, and you can wait for the shine to come off Mario Cristobal
And
and take
step
over
right
the
in.
U. I think we will see this, and there's going to be it will be limited on the guys who can pull it off. I think like what Ed Reed was a coach at Florida A&M for like a month. Eddie George at Tennessee State also went down this road. We'll see former players kind of get into this and jump to the front of the line at what are seemingly lesser schools, right?
Stepping stone schools.
Yeah. But you have to have success, and then you can prove your chops and work your way up. It's a bold move in the world of college football, but I think right now, with the climate of college sports, this is the time to do it because it is less collegiate than it's ever been before, right? And when you have the guys who went from the pros and into college or former players that had successful playing careers, when you get into the NFL, you get into this mentality of I make more money than my coach, right? Like some coaches that lose a locker room are the guys that their players are like, screw this guy. I don't need him, right? And that's in all of professional sports. That's the hardest thing to kind of get over is that in college, the coaches always had the upper hand, right? In the NFL, in the NBA, in Major League Baseball, the coach doesn't. And that's why they say, it takes rings to, win over a locker room, but you can't win a ring unless you win over a locker room. You have to get that, and that's the hardest balance to try and find.
And Ray has that.
Ray has more credibility and more money than any of these guys, and that's like one of the things that Deion does a really good job with is like, dude, he understands better than any other person on the face of this earth about your brand and your talent being better than everybody else's and letting everyone else know about it, right? And so he knows that ego part of it. Ray Lewis knows that too. I think Ray Lewis may be like more equipped to do that than Deion because Ray Lewis was no ands, ifs, or buts about it. The alpha male leader of
One of the most insane locker rooms of all time.
one of the best defenses of all time, but one of the most successful runs of professional football. Like the
Mhm.
Ravens they were always good with Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Like they were always good.
Their offense didn't score a touchdown for 6 weeks, and they didn't lose.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. But there's so much other stuff that goes to the management side of it that, I don't think Deion gets enough credit for being able to relate to boosters and get people to open up their pocketbooks, because that is a tough thing to do.
Yep.
And obviously being at Colorado where that money is there and it's available and people were just waiting for a reason to open them, that helps, obviously.
The other part of this, though, is
But the Ray Lewis doesn't have that at FAU
Oh, God,
if he goes
no.
there. And
No,
by the way, this report came out and everybody was quick to jump on. Look, they haven't had official contact, but
if
there
Schefter's
is-
putting it out there,
there are people at FAU, and boy, Ray Lewis is probably interested in it. There will be conversation shortly.
and the thing about this that is interesting, typically great players don't make great coaches.
No,
It's not common.
Well, Magic Johnson might argue otherwise. Oh, wait.
No, I mean,
well,
just go down the list. There's not many anywhere.
oftentimes though, it's the guys who expect people to be able to do what they did.
Yes.
And you have to have an awareness. And I think, like, also to Deion's credit, that man is such a narcissist that he doesn't believe anybody could ever do what he did.
No.
So, I mean, and look,
It's
justifiably so, because
yeah.
nobody has done what Deion
Yeah.
has been able to do. He's like, I don't expect you to do what I did because nobody can do what I did.
Yeah.
But a lot of professional athletes that fail in coaching is that expectation that if you just work as hard as I did, you're going to be as gifted, and that's just not the truth.
And that's why you have so many in the NFL and the NBA where it's guys that did not have the talent, but they have the brain. They had to rely on other stuff.
Reddick.
Look,
he's doing a good job.
Steve Kerr.
I hate it.
Oh yeah, I mean, just go up and down the board. And
Phil Jackson,
we'll-
Pat Riley.
Doc.
again, good players, not great.
Yeah.
And the same is true even in the NFL. A lot of those guys, whether the head coaches or the coordinators, are guys that were good college players or guys that had a cup of coffee in the NFL.
Outlier, Larry Legend. Larry Bird.
yeah.
He was a good coach, but how long did he stick there? He only stuck there 4 seasons
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
well,
he
he-
became
like
the
that?
president.
Yeah.
before he wanted to go move into the front office.
And he's built multiple iterations of the Pacers that have been very, 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 very good, with
Yeah.
very astute limitations.
I mean, Pat Riley also kind of the exception to that as well. He was a very good player.
he was very good, not great, but very
Yeah.
good. And again, as I said, there are some exceptions.
Lenny Wilkins.
Jerry West.
A lot of the older,
Yeah.
like Bill Russell, player coach, like
When you
that-
had to have a job in the off season.
I mean, yeah.
When you were playing plumbers.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, I'm here to check your pipes.
Okay, there
I
we go.
think it's clear.
Coming up next, though, we'll keep it in the football world. It's Hall of Fame time, and there's a Hall of Fame ballot this year that, look, it gets pretty interesting for the modern era guys. The question everybody's asking is Eli Manning a first ballot Hall of Famer, which we'll get into. But there's some other guys on there that probably should be first ballot Hall of Famers that nobody's talking about. We'll debate some of those. Come up here on Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.